Estás en the WYSL Studio, sí, con la voz de libertad. ¿Cómo estás, voz de libertad?
Estoy bien.
Man, look at that. Look at that. It took 3 years.
I can be taught slowly.
Who said that I can't be a Spanish teacher? Hey, listen, before we introduce our guest, though, I do want to plug a couple of things that I think are very important because
I'm sorry, we don't have time for that today, Peter.
You don't?
No, go ahead.
Oh, man. Okay, thank you very much. Guys, do you mind if I take a quick second with these plugs? We have some great guests today, as we normally do. Do you guys mind?
No.
No, you're going to hear who these people are in a minute, but I did want to take a second because today is June 14th, and guess what? It's my son, Solomon Vasquez's birthday.
Yay!
Isn't that exciting?
Solomon, right?
Solomon, yes.
How old is he?
He's 28.
Oh, he's just a...
I
yeah,
appreciate
exactly.
that.
Just a lad.
So if you see this young man out and about, say, hey, thank you for your service, sir, because he is a Marine, because once a Marine, always a Marine. But Bob, I can't let this go without addressing the fact that today is also Flag Day and the Army's birthday. Right? Because those two things is what allow us today to have these kind of shows on the air, unrestricted by the government saying, hey, tú no puedes decir eso, right? You can't say that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got any time today, just take 1 second and stand up and say, hey, thanks to those, not just in the Army, but in all services who donned the uniform, especially to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice so that today we can call ourselves Americanos and live free in a free society so that great people can do great things and people that don't realize they're great can do great things as well. And Bob, today is also, and I decided to mention this one because I thought you'd appreciate it. It is the National Bourbon Day.
Yeah, that's great. I'm not a bourbon fan, but I like scotch.
Well, isn't that a bourbon?
No.
No, that's right. It's a scotch.
Right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, okay. Well, I thought I was saying something you'd like, but okay.
No,
Forget about bourbon. We'll make it a scotch
Listen,
day.
I support anyone's right to drink bourbon whenever they want.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we've got some great guests here today. And today we're going to highlight a young man who turned his childhood play fights with his dad into a serious boxing career. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. See, at the age of 11, our guest started training tirelessly despite limited opportunities, right? He attended Greece Athena High School right here in our own backyard, and later, with the support from his dad, and we're going to introduce him here in a second too, and the Honorable Jake Bishop, right? And the organization, the Black Hand Company, our guest is now heading to the Paris Olympics training camps. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, join me in welcoming, the young man named Destin El Gallo Jimenez and his father and trainer and mentor, Jason Jimenez. Gentlemen, bienvenido al Next Step Show.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How's it going?
Oh man, it's a going. So listen, just so that the our listeners can kind of get I guess an earful of who's who, right? If you don't mind introducing yourselves, I'll start with you, Dustin.
I'm Dustin Jimenez. I'm 18 years old. How long have I been 18 for?
About 6 months or so.
6 months. I'm freshly 18,
Although I bet you that in his mind, he's been 18 for a lot longer than that.
No. We go over all the time because it's like a flex that I win all these tournaments and stuff at 8. Like I'm elite now, and I'm the youngest in my brackets and everything. So it's like we try to stay 18 for as long as we can.
No, listen, I'm 52. I can tell you, I understand that. And sir?
Jason Jimenez. Do I have to say my age?
Are you 18
I'm
still?
not 18 anymore, that's for sure.
No need to say your age. But I'm glad, Dustin, that you mentioned your age, because today I want to talk about you guys' story, because not only did Dustin become, ranked number 1 in his weight class in this country at just 18, or 17 you were when that happened, no? Or was it 18?
16, 17, and now I'll be ranked number 1 soon at 18.
Very
nice. I'm ranked number 2 right now, right?
Yeah, right now he's number 2 at 139. The past couple of years it was ranked number 1 at 32, ranked number 2 at 39, but he held 2 different titles in 2 different weight classes for a while.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, 346-3000. Listen, give us a call, ask your questions, give your encouragements, because these kind of discussions is what really lays the groundwork for all our youth to look up and say, man, I can do that too. So let's start with your stories, guys. Destin, I'm going to start with you. Can you kind of tell us who Destin is? But I don't really want to know what your bio is on a website right now. I want to know who you are. Like, okay, at 11 you started boxing, but come on, how many 11-year-olds really have that determination to put that kind of work into stuff? So I want to know who you were even before that. That all the things, all the next steps, all the barriers you took down, all the restrictions that parents have on us, right, growing up, that kind of make things hard, that brought you to who and what you're doing today.
I wanted to play some school sports. That I wanted to play basketball at one point. I wasn't tall enough for that, and my dad didn't want me to play football really. And I never played a school sport. Like I was never on the team for anything. So, for a little while we were looking for something to do, because I knew that I needed to do something. I would play games a lot. I was just like, I didn't really do anything productive. And so at one point, I forgot what birthday it was, but my dad got me a dirt bike, and he got me gear for a dirt bike and everything. I started practicing how to ride it. I was going to race dirt bikes when I was younger, and I was little, so it kind of scared me. So it didn't really work out that well. And how long do you think I had that ever for?
The dirt bike, you had that for a little while. That bike was not right for a 7-year-old. What was wrong with me? Show up with a KTM.
Well, we aim high for our kids.
That was unbelievable. It was a total race bike. It had gears on it. Most of the kids' dirt bikes are just automatic. This one was raced out.
Oh wow!
And he was 7, so he had to learn how to ride that. But he had that for a while, and he rode it. But I never took it to the track. It ended up, after I got it, I thought, what am I doing? This is like, you need a lot more practice than what I thought a kid would have needed to ride something like that. So,
but you did it.
He did, yeah.
I did it, yeah. For a little while, and then what happened after that? Probably, I don't know. For a while, I was just playing games. I would just go to school, hang out with my friends. I was being a kid.
Right.
And so, when I started boxing, I trained because they used to have like an 8-week program at the gym. So I trained for my first 8-week program, and then we ended up moving to Florida, and we were there for like 6 months. So I moved back, and I went back to the gym for another 8-week program. At the end of that 8-week program, I had my first fight. So I didn't even box for like the last 6 months, but with what I did in the first time that I was there, they were just all really impressed and everything. They wanted me to fight in the Silver Gloves tournament, so I went and fought. And they brought up, the idea of me fighting, and at the time I was just training, and I was just used to training. I was still young and everything, so it just now hit me that like I could really compete and fight in this sport. I don't know why. I never thought I'd ever put 2 and 2 together. I just thought I was training and learning how to box, I guess. But I had my first fight. I lost my first fight. It was a good fight though. Mm-hmm. Then the Silver Gloves tournament, like I said, was what they originally brought up to me. So I went there. Probably like I would say a month later, I went there, and I won the tournament. I won state champion for Silver Gloves. And then after that, I had maybe.
Now that was outside high school, right? It wasn't like part of a high school program.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only school around here that has boxing is Aquinas.
Ah.
And they don't really travel too much for fights. Most of the time they fight each other.
Gotcha.
So with that same coach and that same gym, I had probably 1 or 2 more fights maybe, and then he ended up just like kind of stopping taking me to fights. So I found a new gym. There was a bunch of kids there, and it was crazy when we went to the new gym, because since I started at the first one, I was young and I was real small. For 11 years old, I was like 80 pounds. I was tiny. Mm-hmm. And everybody at the gym was all like 16 years old, 15, 17 years old. They were way bigger than me. And the reason why they were so impressed was because I was sparring these big kids, and I wasn't necessarily beating them up, but they would hit me with big punches, and I would just keep coming forward. Mm. And they said I had heart. My old coach Tim told my dad that I had heart. And that was the first time. That was the first thing he said. My first time sparring. And ever since that day, he was really impressed. And you know, it's been a long journey.
Just kind of found your thing at that moment, huh?
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you. So tell me something before we go to break. Can you tell us? You like stay up watching all the Rocky movies now, you know, and taking hints from. I'm kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, see, that is Dustin El Gallo Jimenez, boxer aquí in the United States of America. And when we get back from these few words, we're going to hear from his dad, Jason, and his story on how he got his son at a young age. Regresamos en unos momentos aquí con tu conservative New Yorker on the WYSL station.
So true. They told me don't go walking slow. The devil's on the loose. Better run through the jungle.
In the Rochester and Finger Lakes region, one name stands above all others for real estate appraisal and advice.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
This full-service real estate appraisal company can appraise and advise on purchase and sales decisions, mortgage finance feasibility, estate, matrimonial, partnership buyouts, litigation, and more. For any type of property, both residential and commercial. Ryan Murphy was founded almost 40 years ago. All of our highly trained staff members have at least 20 years of experience. All our appraisers are either New York State certified, general, or residential real estate appraisers.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
Start here. RYNNEMurphy.com.
For the last couple of years, Joe Robach has been telling you about Flower City Collision in Henrietta, saying that it was started by a veteran along with his son, Zach. Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and I am that veteran. I want to thank the WYSL listeners for their support over the last couple of years. During those years, not only have I experienced the gratification of providing you the best repairs and customer service, it has also allowed me the opportunity to see my son develop as a young professional. So remember, Flower City Collision for your collision repair needs. And thank you for supporting our locally owned family business.
Youth for Christ Rochester is growing. With the help from the John R. Wegman Foundation, we're adding Saturday mornings back to basketball, while the Saunders Foundation brings back skills and drills for the spring and summer. Our middle school girls program will be starting in a second school this fall. Watch for a new name change for that program. But we need your help. Make a one-time gift of $300 or a monthly gift of $25 to sponsor a kid for a year. Go to yfcrochester.org/donate.
Now that the good
Lance,
want to make sure your vehicle is in tip-top shape, whether it's for the daily commute or that vacation you're planning. For quality, affordable vehicle service, rely on Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge Road. Rock Auto has what your car, truck, or SUV needs. Oil change, brake service, suspension, alignments, exhaust, air conditioning, and tires. Check their Google reviews as one of Rochester's best for customer satisfaction. Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge, just east of Mount Reed, 434-5010.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the WYSL stations.
Happy birthday, U.S. Army. Thanks so much for joining us for Next Steps, brought to you by Rock Auto Service, 1132 Ridge Road West near Mount Reed. The real estate appraisal firm of Ryan Murphy and Associates, Rochester, the Finger Lakes, all of Western New York, residential, commercial, and Flower City Collision. Again, here's Peter.
This would be a phenomenal time to sing our song. Sí, que bonita bandera, que bonita bandera, que bonita bandera, la bandera puertorriqueña. Sí, because today is Flag Day. See, Senor Bob?
I see.
And
I hear.
That is one of my favorite songs. So, ladies and gentlemen, before break, we heard from Dustin, El Gallo. Before I go to you, Dad, I did want to ask, why El Gallo? And can you tell our listeners what that means? I mean, what is it and then what it...
So it's the rooster. It means the rooster. And I'm Puerto Rican, so, and my grandfather, well, my great-grandfather, trained roosters in Puerto Rico and fought roosters. And he was a grand champion rooster trainer, and he won a ton of fights.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that roosters fight to the death.
Mm-hmm.
And so we came up with that name.
I saw a rooster fight, but check this out. I saw it in Afghanistan when I was there. They it was interesting, actually. Afghani roosters fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think one of the people may have put a an American flag bandana on the one that died. It might be. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm joking. I'm joking. Sorry about that. But El Gallo, so Rooster. So you've had fighting and boxing in your blood since before then. I mean, not that you're a rooster, but I mean, you grew up with that kind of mentality of understanding what it means to have a sport that isn't violent. I mean, would you agree with that? Do you consider boxing? Some people say boxing is pretty violent. What do you guys think?
You don't play boxing, that's for sure.
You don't play boxing.
That's the one sport you don't play. You know?
So, Dad, talk to me a little bit about your story and our listeners. Did you give him the name Gajo?
Basically, my grandfather, like Dustin was saying, he was a gallero, and his name is still being spoke about in Puerto Rico. I don't think that they allow fighting anymore with the birds, but that was a big part of our lineage, and we'd go to Puerto Rico to his house, and he had trophies all over the place, and it's just something in our heritage.
Yep.
You know, the fighting birds, the roosters, you know, so.
And in some of the pictures that depict Puerto Rico, right, back in the day especially, there's very much roosters and all. There was something, my father, you know, he grew up in Guayama, Puerto Rico, and it was something that they all did as well. So earlier, Dustin said that you didn't let him play football, but you bought him a race bike, and you let. So why not football? I get the context for it, but why not football?
I think I'm just a different person, and I did the high school sports. I found it difficult to rely on other teammates. They were doing things on the weekend they probably shouldn't have been doing, and it affected the team. And when I was the person that was training and trying out for sport, I had big dreams when I was a kid, and I just, play football, NFL, whatever I did was always going to stardom is what I wanted to do. And I just kind of felt like if he did something where he had control over it, it would be, if you do good, it's, you did it, if you don't do well, you also did that. So I raised Dustin to know that there's consequences in everything that we do, whether they're good or bad, based on the choices that we make. So with the dirt bikes, that was an individual sport. I thought it was kind of cool. It was different. And then boxing. I mean, he punched me in the face that day, and we used to just box all the time. But I was taking a nap, and he punched me right in my eye, and I saw the flash. I'm like, all right, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to go to the gym. And that's how that kind of got started. But and then the bikes was, once I realized that it may or may not be something that I really wanted him to do. We went to a few races to watch the other kids race, and they were like little peewees racing around the track, and some fell off, some didn't, and it was fun. And just to see what he was going to think about it. And I showed up with the motorcycle one day. And on his birthday is what it was. So.
And listen, I've done things like that too. I mean, my kids sometimes they look at me now and they're like, "Why'd you let me do that?" And I'm like, "Are you unhappy that I let you do that?" I mean, if anything, at the very least, to talk character. I mean, kids don't come with manuals, right? And the thing is, I have to ask, if you didn't do the things that you do that were a little off the beaten path, that some would say, do you think you would have the tenacity to become the fighter he is today? You know what I mean? I mean, I think all that kind of comes together.
It's about a lot of factors too with school sports. Unfortunately, grades play a big factor in that. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to do in school, it's kind of a control thing. You're not able to play. And boxing's an outside school sport, so none of that really affected. We left town all the time, so it was constantly trying to deal with things that with the school. How are we going to make at least him passable with the time that he was missing?
Exactly.
And I had to let them know that we weren't playing after school dodgeball. We were fighting in USA national tournaments, big prestigious tournaments. So,
and I agree. I have found those kind of rules